This is the USB Type-C to Apple Lightning converter I designed. It's stick to the back of the iPhone case. It has both a USB Type-C port and an Apple Lightning port. Now we attach it to the iPhone with a Lightning port. Let's take a look at the USB Type-C port. Now we can use a USB Type-C cable to charge it. Hello everyone, I am Mr. Shang. Welcome to this video. Today, I'm going to introduce to you the iPhone accessory I designed and DIYed myself. It's specially made for the iPhone using the Apple Lightning port. You know, Lightning is supposed to mean the flash of charging, but actually iPhone, iPad, Apple Lightning is actually very slow. As we all know, from the iPhone 5 to the iPhone 14, all models have used the Lightning port as the charging and data transmission port. The Lightning port has spanned a total of 10 phone generations. Its release back then was considered a revolutionary product. Before the USB Type-C port was introduced, the Lightning port, with its compact and beautiful design and the capability to plug in either way, completely beat out the micro USB port. According to the data I got from Perplexity.ai, up till now, from the iPhone 5 to the iPhone 14, Apple have sold a total of about 2.37 billion iPhone with Lightning ports. If we exclude iPhone 7 and the model before the iPhone 7, there are still about 1.49 billion devices still in use. If among these, half of the iPhones are still operational, that's nearly 750 million devices. With such a large quantity, if there weren't a mandate from the EU requiring all customer electronics to adopt the USB Type-C starting in 2024, Apple might not have changed, because the MFI certification for Lightning ports is said to contribute about $5 billion in revenue for Apple annually. Apple certainly couldn't and wouldn't give up such a large slice of the pie easily. Since the release of the iPhone 15 last year, Apple switched to the USB Type-C port, which is undoubtedly great news for users. Users no longer need to have a separate Lightning charging cable for their iPhones. This is not only makes things more convenient, but also aligns with the current trend where most consumer electronics are adopting USB Type-C port. With just one USB Type-C cable, you can charge all your devices, saving all the hassle. I personally own 3 iPhones and 1 iPad, all of which use the Lightning port. Every time I go out, it's a hassle to find a specific Lightning charging cable for these devices. I believe many users face the same issue. On the YouTube, some YouTubers have DIYed their iPhone's Lightning port and changed it to a USB Type-C port. But that requires disassembling the iPhone and custom-made parts, which is extremely expensive and the process is very complex. So I thought, why not design a simple USB Type-C to Lightning converter that sticks to the back of the phone? This way, it won't affect the aesthetic too much and it's very practical. So I began designing the converter. After multiple attempts, I finally successfully created a USB Type-C to Lightning converter. It's compact and thin and can easily stick to the back of the iPhone without affecting the user experience. It also won't significantly harm the aesthetics of the iPhone. Most importantly, it provides great convenience. You can charge the iPhone with just a USB Type-C cable. In the next part, I will demonstrate in detail the development process of this converter, what material and tools are needed, and how to attach it to the back of the iPhone. I hope it can bring you some inspiration and help. I found an Apple Lightning male charging connector on Taobao, which used a Chinese domestic chip. Since I couldn't find a reference design for this chip, I needed to reverse engineer this male charging connector. I figured out its schematic. I took a piece of paper, stuck it on the board, and drew a relative positions of the board's components. I used double-sided tape so that when the components were removed, it would stay in the correct positions. I fixed the male charging connector in place. I turned on the heat gun, set the temperature to above 300 Celsius, and increased the airflow. Let's get started. Wait, I will remove the metal head first, otherwise the plastic inside might melt and the board won't stay in place. Scrap off the plastic. Blow out the components one by one and stick them into the drawing brace. I took out my Sleeping Beauty SMD components multimeter, but the switch was dead. I needed to fix it. Shave a cotton swap stick to temporarily hold it in place. This resistor was 20k ohms. That resistor was 0 ohms. This resistor was 150 ohms. That resistor is 5.1k ohms. This resistor was 100k ohms. Switch to the capacitance mode. Measure the capacitance, which is to 70 NF and then 50 NF. Switch back to the resistor mode. Measure the resistance again, and it was 150 ohms. Finally, I measured the 20 volts resistor. I dug out my long-lost polishing kit to see which material would be suitable for polishing the PCB's isolating ink layer. This round piece of sandpaper looks pretty good, so let's use this one. Gonna look confident and cool while polishing, you know. Let's check out the final polishing results. The circuits are perfectly clear. Time to start drawing the schematic. I'm using JLC-EDA's professional version because it's free. JLC-EDA, please sponsor me. I found a suitable USB Type-C male connector on szlcsc.com. First, I manually measured the Chinese domestic Apple Lightning male connector and drew a schematic on paper. Then I compared it with the hand-drawn schematic and the actual PCB image. Then I drew the schematic on the EDA. Since EDA didn't have a ready-made footprint for the Apple male connector's flexible flat cable, I have to create one myself. I connected all the corresponding lines. I double-checked and optimized the routing and layout. Then I started creating the actual PCB design. also known as PCB layout. I created a PCB footprint for the flexible flat cable. I quickly drew a board outline. Then I place each component within the outline. Start routing, connecting the wires of each component one by one. I laid a ground plane. Finally, I completed the 3D structure preview. Take a look at the electronic art. I went to jlcpcb.com's orders page. 5 samples for 20 Chinese dollars. Order placed. The package arrived 2 days later. Let's check out the actual PCB. I plug in the USB Type-C male connector and test it. Looks good. I apply the right amount of solder paste on the components pad. I use the heat gun to remove the components from the charging male connector and place them onto the corresponding positions on the new PCB. I positioned the components correctly. The heat gun did its magic. Added some flukes. The heat gun and tweezers worked. I used a toothbrush dipped in PCB cleaner to clean the board. Apply solder paste to the USB Type-C pads. Plug in the USB Type-C female connector. The heat gun turned on again. Blew on it. You have to say it's oddly satisfying. I added some solder to the outer pad for extra security. I add some more flukes. I use a soldering iron to clean up any solder bridges. One ground copper area didn't have a hole, so I have to do a manual wire fix. I soldered the flexible flat cable pins to the corresponding PCB pins. Connected to the iPhone. It's testing time. Plug it in. Oh yeah, successful. Well, but it still looks ugly. it stick out too much. I need to design a case for the PCB. Measure the length, width, and height. Drew a face, extruded. Cut out a slot for the USB Type-C connector. Made another slot for the PCB. Rounded the 4 edges on the top, also rounded the corner on the sides. After many years, I couldn't find my 3D printer's power supply, so I have to go to glcpcb.com again. I sent the case design to there for 3D printing. Order placed. Receive it for 2 days later. Check the appearance, it looks alright. Test it on the structure. It fits well. Let's try it on the phone. Well, why does it look so ugly still? Never mind, just plug it in. The connection is loose. I cut a piece of double-sided tape. And stick it to the back of the phone case. Press it down firmly. And make an apple sticker. You know, an apple for all your trouble. Let's give it one last chance to perform. First, it starts with Apple 2.4 amps, and then 12 volts. Finally, it's ramped up to 9 watts at 1.93 amps, 17 watts fast charging. Mission accomplished. I'm so exhausted. Let's stick a Pikachu on it. Wow, nice.
Nice.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please click like or comment or subscribe. Feel free to save and follow my channel. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, leave them in the comment section of this video or message me. Thank you for watching and see you next time.